Yo, what up? Welcome to Mo Boxing No Problem. I'm Jose Martinez Jr. I'm joined with my co-host Seek. And today we got a special guest, a returning guest on the channel, pro boxer Jacob Macalolooy. How's it going, Jacob?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Doing
Good, good,
well.
man.
Thank you so much for making the time.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So as we mentioned, you've been out here before. It's been almost a year. So we had you on 10 months ago, right after your June fight at the Cow Palace. How
Sure.
you been? What you been up to?
Man, I've been great. After that fight, I had like 300 people come out to that fight. So, West Side Promotions, at that point was like, okay, we got to do something with this guy. So I ended up signing with them to a 1 year deal,
Okay,
1 year, 3 fight minimum. So,
that's
I
cool.
did, yep. So I got one of those fights on the contract, done in November. I won a unanimous decision, 6 round shutout, but it was a competitive, tough fight against Jose Elguero Gomez. So real good fight from my experience. And since then, I was supposed to fight again in March, but it kind of fell through, and so now I'm up again in May.
Yeah, what happened with that March 16 fight? Because I remember it was being promoted. Did the opponent just fall through?
Yeah, opponent fell through. I mean, yeah, I was still on the posters. I still ended up going to check out the venue and everything. But yeah, the opponent just fell through. I wasn't able to get my opponent fell through and my backup opponent fell through. So it was like, dang.
Damn, that's all bad.
Yeah. So at that point, and it was already like, I didn't find out about the backup opponent falling through until the Monday before. So it was like, dang, it was tough because a lot goes into my camps. Because I do my
Yeah,
camps down here in San Diego, and I live with my family up in the Bay Area in Union City. So I do a lot of traveling and take time off of work and stuff to do my camps down here in SD.
gotcha, gotcha. Cool,
Yeah,
cool. Oh, go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna say that like you said, March 16 was the first time at the Fox Theater. What did you think
Yep,
of the venue?
man, it's different. It's definitely different. I really love the big atmosphere of the Cow Palace. But the Fox Theater is gonna be a lot more intimate, and it's just so different, man. It's literally a ring on the stage, so you only get one view, one side of the ring. But if you're like up on the balcony, you can see right into the ring, and
Nice.
there's pretty much no bad seats in there. It's a real close, intimate venue.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and talking about your the Cow Palace, you last fought on November 4th, the Cow Palace, as we are saying, in Delhi City versus Jose Manuel Gomez, right?
Yes,
So,
sir.
okay, tell me about the fight. It looks like the judges had you like winning every round.
Yep. And I would think I won every round. But it wasn't like such a big stretch every time, like some of the rounds were kind of close. He's just a solid, rugged fighter, take shots and just keep going. But I was closing out every single, like at the end of every round, I was closing it with clean shots, letting the judges remember who's really winning the fight, who's really controlling the fight. So I felt I was in control of the entire fight. I felt comfortable. I felt good. I was doing my little showboating, schmoozing up the crowd. It's funny because I don't even realize that I'm doing it. Like when I look back and watch the fight, I'm like, man, I'm almost showboating too much. Like I'm not even me watching myself. I'm like, okay,
It
that's a little,
happens. It happens.
that's enough. But it just comes out naturally, man. The energy is just crazy.
I feel you, man. It happens.
Absolutely. And then your next fight is going to be on May 18th at the Fox Theater here at Redwood City.
Yes,
Are
sir.
you talking about you putting on a show? Are you excited to put on a show for the fans once again?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of been a long time. It's like a cool 6 months. So people have been asking, people have been itching for it. Everyone was already ready for it in March. So I was ready for it in March. So it's kind of just feels like a long time coming, and super excited to get back out there and put on a show for everybody.
Awesome.
That's what's up, brother. And speaking about your next fight, let's talk about your opponent, Xavier Madrid, if I'm not mistaken. What
Yeah.
can you tell us about him?
He is similar to my sixth fight, which was the first one at the Cow Palace,
Okay.
against. I feel like he's similar to him because it's the type of guy who's a B-side guy that's just been fighting a bunch of undefeated dudes. If you
Oh
look at
shit.
his box track, it's like the last guys he's been fighting 8-0, 6-0, 7-0, 5-0. and came out with a win and a draw against some of these undefeated guys. So solid opponent, solid for my experience, but still not quite on my level. So I'm excited to go out there against some more solid opposition.
Right.
See these up and coming prospects that take a lot of tomato can type of fights. And the guy that I'm fighting doesn't have the best record. I think he's like 5-3 or 5-3-1 or something. But
Okay.
against all solid undefeated opponents. So it's gonna be a good show, and but kind of the perfect opponent for me to just showcase my skills. Somebody that's gonna go out there, throw a lot of punches, and for me to just make them miss a whole bunch and make them pay.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and sometimes you need those opponents that want to come in there and play spoiler, kind of bring the best out of you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And this is gonna be your third 6-rounder in a row. Do you think after this fight you'll be ready to move up to 8-rounders?
Absolutely. It was originally supposed to be an 8-rounder in March. It was supposed to be an 8-rounder, fell through, and then this time it was also supposed to be an 8-rounder, but we weren't able to get the opponent approved for 8. So it's gonna be 6 again, and then the next one should for sure be an 8.
Gotcha.
Cool. And so far, how has the camp been for you? Are you particularly focusing on any specific thing?
There's certain strategies that I'm working on with my coach that I probably better not to disclose, but I've also been working with a new strength and conditioning coach.
Okay.
And Devin, aka High Speed, he's been, man, so we do like a whole team workout with all the boxers and a couple MMA fighters too, and it's like super fight specific, and like we do like this landmine stuff and just real fight specific. Like it just makes so much sense for us to be doing that stuff, and it just feels great to come out of those workouts knowing that we're training specifically for punching and moving and being explosive. So I'm really excited to see what my gas tank and what my power and speed looks like after changing up my strength and conditioning.
Yes, sir.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And then are you able to share some names that you've been working with as far as sparring partners for this camp?
I've been training with a couple pros here and there. My own teammates. I have solid pros. My main pro teammate Austin Brooks, I've been coming up with. He's a lot smaller than me, but he fights at 130. But me and him do technical sparring and stuff, and we train a lot together. We pretty much came up together from the amateurs. Kind of joined Coach Bashir's stable around the same time. So coming up with him, and then we have a lot of solid amateurs on our team as well. I don't know any other. I don't feel like I feel like it from there. It's just too many names to kind of point out. But I haven't, for this specific camp, I haven't been sparring with any like big name pros like I have in the past.
No worries. And yeah, shout out to Austin Brooks, definitely a talented guy.
For sure.
Yes, sir. And let's take it a little back to your past speed on sparring partners. You sparred Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, right? Okay, how was it like sparring with them?
And it was such a cool experience. Both of them, I was hired to get them ready for Manny Pacquiao. And for Crawford, I was with Crawford's camp first in Colorado, and man, it was different in Colorado. They Terrence does 4-minute rounds with the altitude, so it's definitely something to adjust to. I pretty much flew out there and was sparring the next day, so I pretty much didn't have any time to acclimate. And by the next week, once I was acclimated, that's when he found out that he wasn't going to get the big fight. So I was kind of like bummed out that I didn't get a chance to really give him like a full best go, like acclimated to the altitude. But I still feel like I gave him good work. I was able to I feel like when someone hires you for sparring, you do want to try and mimic their opponents. And Pacquiao's all southpaw. I fight both sides, so I stick southpaw the whole time pretty much. And I did my best to be explosive like Manny, and they appreciated that. But every once in a while, kind of just let it fly how I should.
Yes,
but with Spence, Spence was definitely different. I was there for 7 weeks in Dallas. You know, he pretty much was set to have his fight, you know, that whole time. And, you know, that was the camp where some of that leaked footage came out, with me sparring against Spence. And so there were definitely times where I was catching Spence, you know, especially with Pacquiao style moves. And so I was kind of like, oh man, I don't
That's
know how
crazy.
this is gonna go. But you know, it's hard to say comparatively. I mean, the fact that I was able to, you know, tag Spence with a lot of shots, and I never really had the chance to do that with Bud. I kind of knew what was gonna happen coming into their fight together, but it's also different because I had so much more time with Spence versus, you know, if I would have had 7 weeks with Bud, maybe those openings would have, you know, maybe I would have had more opportunities.
Gotcha. That's good. That's good, man.
Right on. And, you know, and speaking of, you know, Spence and Crawford, they pretty much had the welterweight division on lock, you know, clear number one, number two in that division. And now with them both moving up, it's almost leaving that division wide open. You know, the only champion I think at this time would be Jaren Boots Ennis. What are your thoughts on the welterweight division? I mean, you got Devin Haney potentially moving up, Ryan Garcia potentially moving up. You know, what do you think about the welterweight division now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the welterweight division is always, you know, the glamour division in boxing. And yeah, I feel like, you know, Boots is real tough, but I feel like he's going to want to move up soon too. I think he's just been itching to get Bud and Spence out of there or to fight them. And I don't know if any of those fights are going to happen for him. So, you know, I could see, you know, Boots, you know, taking over the division for a little bit and then moving up pretty quick. So seeing Garcia and Haney go up to 47, I don't even know if Haney would really want to go up to 47. I mean, maybe eventually he's gonna get there, but I feel like against those 140-pound dudes, I feel real confident against guys like that.
Right
That's
on.
good, man. Good. And are you still comfortably making the welterweight limit?
Yeah,
Yeah. You're
yeah,
feeling good?
I'll stick at 147 until I got belts, and then if I get all the belts at 47, then I can move up.
There you
Well
go.
said. Well
Love
said.
that. Love that.
There.
And how has it been being signed with Westside Promotions? You know, I think you were the first fighter they signed.
Oh, really? I think they've yeah, we got a few now. I don't know
Yeah, I think they
if
got,
that's true that I'm the first. That's cool.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
they've been good. They've been solid. You know, I'm happy with where we're at so far. So yeah, nothing bad to say about them. And it just works out perfectly. You know that they have their shows in the Bay, and that's where all my people are at. I mean, I got some people in San Diego, some people in New York, but the bulk of my family and friends and fans are in the Bay Area where I grew up.
Right on.
Cool, man.
And then did you see any of the big fights this past weekend? You had Canelo Munguia and then Inoue and Neri.
Yes, sir. I watched both of them, man.
What do you think?
Great stuff. Man, I feel like Canelo definitely could have. If I mean, he was just being super patient and just like showing, you know, how sharp he is. But you definitely kind of see not. I mean, maybe he's being real smart. Maybe he just doesn't have the same type of gas in the tank to be as busy as he used to be. But definitely seemed like he kind of carried him after the knockdown. Would have liked to see it finish, but you know, he just kind of played it safe and just gave gave people a show, and you know, respected Munguia as a fellow Mexicano. So I don't know. I feel like if he really wanted to finish it, he could have finished it.
I'm hearing that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, Inoue, sheesh, man, I was scared that first round because I'm a big Inoue fan for sure. So when I saw him got dropped, I was like, oh my gosh, no way this is happening right now. But you know, just so much composure. Just took that knee, took a couple breaths, stood up, and was like, okay. He was just hyper focused after that, and then by the next round, he already had him fully figured out.
Yeah,
Cool.
that knockdown woke me up. It was like 4 a.m. our time. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, no way this is happening right now.
I mean, yeah, I was hyped up. I'm like, what the hell? Like, no way he got knocked out. No way. And then when he started getting a little more comfortable, I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, it is what it is. You know? Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That could always happen, you know, first round.
Yeah.
First round get a little
get caught
woken up.
cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I liked from that fight too, I mean, because both fighters brought it and Eddie was, you know, giving a good fight till the end. But the Japanese fans going into the fight did not like Nettie, and afterwards he won them over. So I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
hell
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
That's
a lot of
crazy.
respect from those people for sure.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. And this last question is more to open up the floor. Any message to your fans and supporters?
Um, man, just again, super grateful for all the support that I get. It's really just I can't even explain it. Like I can't even really fathom, how I've been blessed this much or what I've really done or maybe what I did in a past life to get the love that I receive now. So man, my fans, my sponsors, they really carry me. I as an up and coming fighter, I don't, you know, some things may look good and nice, and a lot of people think that I'm making a bunch of money, but that is really not the case. with these purses as of right now, I'm not quite, getting that big bag. So I sell merchandise, and my fans are huge support, and that helps me out a lot, and my sponsors, man, help me like crazy. So that allows me to, because I still work, so that allows me to take time off of work, go down to San Diego for my camps, and just really focus on the game.
Cool,
Yes,
cool, cool.
yes, sir. And Jacob, can you drop your social media handles for people to follow you?
Yes, sir. It's at jnm.fights on Instagram. I'm not really on Twitter like that, but if you find me on Twitter, it's at 147jnm. And yeah, I guess Facebook is just my name, Jacob Macalolooy.
All right, everybody, give him a follow, and that way you can kind of look at the highlights and training clips in preparation for the upcoming May 18th fight. If you haven't
Sure.
bought your ticket in the Bay Area, make sure you get so now. It's coming up soon. And again, Jacob, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to talk boxing with you and just get to know you better.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for having me again.
Of course.
Appreciate
Anytime. Enjoy the rest of your day.
you guys too.
All right, take care. Bye.
Like,
Later.